You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
Welcome to Mr. Credit. We are live and local here in San Diego, bringing you the most important hour in radio and telling you everything they don't want you to know. When I say they, I mean the bureaus, I mean the banks, I mean the government, and even the media. In fact, let's say they is anyone who's trying to get their grubby hands into your hard-earned pocketbook. That's what we're trying to prevent here on the show, trying to save you as much money as possible and make sure that you have the highest credit score you can. Visit MrCreditRadio.com if you want to learn more about the show, or send me an email, which I'll be getting some of your emails here in a little bit, or you can do a Facebook search for Mr. Credit, and you will find me there. Padres lost a tough one yesterday to Toronto, 7-1. Unfortunately, we did lose the lead in the National League West to the Dodgers, so the Dodgers have us by half a game now, but you can catch all of the Padres action right here on San Diego 1700. Tonight we'll be playing in Petco Park downtown against Baltimore, and start time for that game is 7 p.m. So tune in right here on San Diego 1700. Save this station in your dial. Today we're going to be talking about a lot of different myths that are involved with credit. It's really an important part of the credit scoring process is to understand the truths behind the reality in credit. What are the realities in credit? Because so many people get the wrong idea. You know, they have great intentions, but what they end up doing is actually the wrong thing to do. So the first thing I want to bring up, and we've actually got an email along this line in a little bit I'll get to, is credit cards. You know, a lot of people hate credit cards, and trust me, no one hates the credit card companies more than I do. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get into your wallet. They'll do anything they can to get there. The last thing they have on their mind is your best interest. It's all about profit. It's all about bringing that money home. And if they do that, they feel like they've done their job. That's why credit cards are evil. It's just like those payday loans we keep talking about, these debt settlement companies. All this stuff is wrong. All this stuff is wrong. None of it is right. None of it is righteous at all. And no one is out there looking out for you, but that's what I'm here for. So when we first of all start talking about credit cards, you've got to understand the importance of the credit cards, because they are 30% of the credit score. 30% of the credit score is based on you having a credit card. If you don't have one, you're missing out. You're missing out on a huge part of your credit score. Now, I know you don't want them. I know you know they're bad. But don't get beat at a game in which you can see the other guy's cards. I mean, that's the thing. And we know how this stuff works. We know it's nasty. We know it's not right. But if we know how it works, we can use those things to our advantage. So if a guy's playing with his cards face up, you should be able to beat him. And that's exactly what we've got here, because I'm bringing you all this information. You can go to MrCreditEducation.com if you want to take a look at the educational video library. It's pretty neat. It's up there. It's free. You can go there. You can look at it. Look up any topic you have or you're thinking about with regard to credit, and I've got an educational video in there explaining it in detail. All right, and there's a section in there for the components of credit score, and one of them is called utilization. It's 30% of the score. You can watch about a 2-minute video, and you'll fully understand why it's so important to have credit cards. I mean, you got to have them. If you don't have them, then you're letting them win, especially if you know you need it. Now, the question is, well, what if I have like a 450 credit score? What if I have a 510 credit score? Nobody's going to give me a credit card. Everyone can get a credit card. That reports to all 3 bureaus. And in fact, no matter what your credit score is, you should go and get a secured credit card. You have to. It's the only way you can protect your credit. It's the only insurance you have to making sure that no one can take your credit away. You see, with a traditional credit card, the issuing bank has all the right in the world to pull that card out from under you at any point in time. I mean, they don't have to continue to issue you credit. They're making decisions on an ongoing basis to whether they want to do it or not. And that's the reason why it's such a rigged game. Think about that. 30% of your credit score is based on having a credit card, period. And then the balances that you have on those credit cards is the factoring model. So if you don't have a credit card, you're missing 30%. If you do have a credit card and it's maxed out, then that could be hurting you Not more than it's helping you, but hurting you as much potentially as it's helping you. So there is a second component to that that's really important to understand. But if you don't have a card at all, you're really missing out. And that's why we see people's scores go up so much when they get one of these secure cards. All you have to do is go to MrCreditEducation.com, MRCreditEducation.com, click on the Get Approved tab. Okay, in the Get Approved tab, you're going to see there's two accounts. One's called Public Savings, one's called Ox Publishing. Those are two accounts that almost anyone can get. They're revolving lines of credit, all right? And both of those will report to the bureaus. The Public Savings will report to all three bureaus. That's why that's the one I recommend for everybody the most. Ox will report to 2. And that'll allow you to establish a revolving line of credit no matter what your credit score is. Now, if you're in the mid-500s, potentially, just establishing that account could get you 40 or 50 points. I mean, right off the bat. If people say, oh, it's bad when you get new credit. It's bad to get inquiries on your credit. Think about it, though. What looks better to something that's judging you and trying to determine whether or not they should give you credit, the scoring model, than a new account, than showing that someone has just given you credit? That helps a lot. This is why I recommend that everyone do this. Remember also, with secured cards, they can't take it away from you. The card issuing banks can't just come in and say, oh, your account's closed. We don't like the way things look. We know you got laid off. We're closing your account. They can't do it because you're putting up the money for the credit line. And that's why it's so important. I have about a dozen of these personally, and I recommend that everybody, and I mean everybody, needs to get one. You have to. You have to get a secure credit card. I don't care if you have 800 credit. What if they pull all of the cards that you've had for 10 years out from under you, which they can do? If they do that, what are you going to do? You got to have a plan. There's got to be a plan there. All right? And I'm not talking about a plan like this whole oil spill plan, which there is no plan. It's a blame game. Can you believe that stuff? I mean, is that just a joke? Am I in, like, dreaming that 60 days after this thing happened we don't have a solution? Everybody just trying to figure out who to blame. I just saw a commercial tonight for BP. I thought it was a class act commercial, to be honest with you. Oh, it was class act. They said, here's our claims number. We're going to pay out all the claims, people who are put out of work. Here's the phone number, 24/7. Call if you have a claim. Here's the website. You can submit it online. We're going to pay all the claims. I thought that was pretty neat. But still, that's not a solution to the problem. That's not even a Band-Aid. I mean, that has nothing to do with the actual problem that's occurring. That has to do with the effects of the problem. But why do you want to go and look at trying to solve the effects of the problem? We need to solve the problem. I mean, what's really going to solve it is if we get in there and get something done with it. I don't mean to stray from the credit thing. Jiminy Christmas, guys. And this is what I mean. You have to find solutions. You can't just sit there and play the blame game. You can't go, oh, it's my ex-husband who screwed up my credit. It's just done. I give up. That's the worst thing you can do. That's actually what most people do who make the biggest mistakes with credit, is they give up. You can't give up. That's what they want you to do. Remember something very important. The lower your credit score is, the more money you're going to pay for everything. Now think about that. Who's going to get all that extra money you're paying? You really want to give them, banks, insurance companies, etc. But still, the insurance companies, that money just funnels all back to the banks eventually anyway. You really want to give the banks more of your hard-earned money just because you didn't want to deal with it? Just because it was easier for you to say, my credit's screwed anyway. I don't care. You end up paying more for everything. I mean everything. People have been coming to me lately and telling me that rent is actually on a tiered schedule now. Isn't that funny? When you used to apply for an apartment or to rent a house or a condo, whatever it is, there was a certain amount for the rent and a certain amount for the deposit, and you either qualified or you didn't. Well, what's happening now is really interesting and makes sense. What they're doing is, and this is across the board, apartments, individuals, I mean, I've seen it all walks of renting. If you have a lower credit score, not only are you going to have to put down a bigger deposit, but now you're going to have to pay more rent. You're going to have to pay more rent. No joke. You're going to pay more rent than the person who's renting the same apartment right next to you because of your credit score.